There are many types of protagonists, some which I am very interested in, and I would like to at least attempt to create a character and a story that would fit together. But there are also some that I'm really not interested in and absolutely don't want them in my stories. One of them would be this sort of a powerless protagonist, a character that just completely lacks the means to decide or at least affect to an extent his or her own fate. Maybe it would be alright if some situations like that came into play at some point in their lives, but it would have to be at least insinuated that a situation like that was at least unpleasant to the character, because since first and foremost I'm writing a story for myself, this sort of a powerlessness just does not make me feel good as the reader. Although I am more than okay with characters and namely the protagonist falls and fails or chooses to not struggle in a certain situations for a good reason. But when I'm confronted by such a situation, when it's not even an option, the character has no choice, and the story just has to happen that way because the plot decides and commands, that just makes me feel quite uncomfortable and thus makes it so that I, the writer and the reader, obviously biased towards the protagonist, feel that these types of situations, these types of tropes, and these types of storytelling tools are not exactly welcome in my stories. I've said it before, I want the protagonists to rebel, resist against the story. Me, the writer, his creator. Obviously, this is figuratively speaking, but it's also something that I do genuinely want to achieve. And these types of a protagonist that basically just goes with the flow, I don't want that. I don't want to read about that anymore. I've read way too many of those, and it's absolutely something that I'm not going to write about. I am surprising myself. Another quite short intro, at least by my standards. And now for the rapid arrows, they've met their next grand adversary, and the last misadventure was their confrontation with the evil talisman cat's paw that seemingly brought great misfortune to all the club members, and it all ended in a club meeting when they decided to seize the cat's paw by all means necessary, and then they'll also have to decide the punishment for the traitor Bohoshek, who they did their very best to help, only for him to turn coats and betray them. And they do come up with a plan based pretty much on how superstitious Longpole is. And the first step of that plan is to threaten Bristles with the safety of his favorite rats and use him to write a letter to Longpole with a fake story saying that the talisman needs strengthening to ensure that its power will last longer, and that can only be achieved by placing it on a specific rock next to the grave of the cat from which Bristles took the paw post-mortem in the first place. Two of the boys stay to make sure that Bristles does not warn Longpole, and the rest prepare an ambush. After delivering the note to the Longpole, he believes it, the trap is ready. Longpole fell for the letter, and the only thing that could possibly ruin the Rapid Arrow's plan are Speedy's hiccup which came at the worst moment possible when the boys are hiding behind the bushes, waiting for the long pole to come with the cat's paw. He places the talisman on the rock, chants for the powerful spell to enter his paw. He means the cat's paw, but then Speedy lets out an especially powerful hiccup which alerts Longpole, but nevertheless Speedy's paws are faster than Longpole's, so even with that small, well, hiccup, the plan works and they finally snatch the evil talisman from the Brotherhood. The Rapid Arrows find a place where the Brotherhood meets, and after a short climbing session, when Indra asks Speedy if he can't make racket quietly, they reach a window above a room where Longpole, Bristles, and Bohoshek were concocting plans to snatch the paw back from the Rapid Arrows, specifically Bristles swearing on his favorite rat that he won't leave the talisman with the Rapid Arrows. So Speedy shouts at him, provoking him to come for it if he can. The Brotherhood immediately jumps at the chance to get it back, Bristles bringing with himself his well-trained rat, which scares even Mirek himself, who finds them quite repulsive. 4 members of the club are keeping Longpole at bay, while Speedy, with the paw, is being pursued by Bristles with his rat in his hands. It's a close chase, Speedy calling Bristles unkempt planter. Speedy runs into the house where the old lady, the owner of the passed away cat, the source of the paw, lives, with Bristles and the rat literally breathing down his neck. In the last moment possible, he knocks on her door, and her opening almost instantly saves him from the fate of having a living red boa. He explains to her that the paw came from her dead cat and that it was Brittles who stole it. She takes it, promising that she'll put it back where it belongs and that she'll deal with Bristles herself, and that she'll also escort Speedy back to his home so that the Brotherhood can't beat him up. I should add to this that I genuinely adore cats. I love them. I have lived with them for more than half of my life, and that makes the Brotherhood of the Cat's Paw a real horrendous villain in my eyes. Even though the paw was stolen from an already passed away cat, I still want to see them suffer for their transgression against the greatest species out there. And that, at least for now, concludes the episode about the evil talisman and the birth of the Brotherhood. And in the next one, the Herald organizes an event, a plane models race, and apparently the Brotherhood participates as well. So the Rapid Arrows are hard at building their models, determined to not fail in front of their enemies. They meet the Brotherhood on a nearby field, and there are also electric poles there. The Brotherhood has 2 planes, one called the Cat's Paw and the other one Red Rat. The first flight of the Cat's Paw fails spectacularly, and that makes the Red Rat their only hope to impress the Rapid Arrows, but that one ends in the power line. Bohoshek starts climbing the pole, and Mirek immediately starts screaming at him that he has to come down right now, otherwise the electric current will kill him. A nearby policeman sees the commotion, and meanwhile Yarka goes after Bohosh, who genuinely wanted to grab the model from the wires. While Mirek is admonishing the Brotherhood for sending Bohosh to his death, in the nick of time, Yarka manages to grab Bohosh by his hoodie and rip him off the pole. Fortunately for Bohosh and unfortunately for Longpole, Bohoshek falls right on Longpole's back, producing a rather unsavory sound and making Longpole scream that his back was broken in half and that he immediately needs to go to the hospital. When the policeman arrives, he heavily scolds the Brotherhood, telling them that it's okay to lose the model, it's way better than losing their lives, and that you should never ever climb the poles or touch the electric wires, otherwise you are risking death. The model is lost, pride as well, but fortunately, thanks to Yarka's quick decision making, at least Bohosh and the rest of the Brotherhood can still walk away on their own feet. And that's it for this one. I do have more to say about protagonists, some clarifications of things that I've mentioned before, a few new realizations, and more characters that I would like to create, and then obviously more rapid arrows, big things happening in the next chapter. So yeah, that's for the next video, and I'm done for today.